Hi everyone and welcome back to Fabworx. We're going to do a brief video of how to fit our static beds. This morning we've got this nice Transit Custom in and we're just going to run through key measurements before we load the bed into the vehicle. If you just follow us over to the van. First key measurement is going to be here. The van always gets smaller the taller it gets. So don't measure down on the floor, as the floor will always be wider. We need roughly 1,140 millimeters for our bed to clear in here, and as you can see we've got just under 1,200 millimeters. Second measurement we want to check, because this has got a bit of a dog's leg kitchen unit with the fridge sticking out. Make sure we've got at least 6 foot or 1830 in millimeters free space from your back doors. As you can see there, we've got 1920. We're now going to move around the back of the van and drop the spare wheel. Spare wheels on a Ford Transit or on a cable pulley system. There is a special tool in the vehicle if it's still in the vehicle. We opt out to use one of these. Always make sure your spare wheel is removed, as we will be drilling holes in this area where your spare wheel is housed. On a transporter custom, most vehicles have the spare wheel and a wheel well here, so you want to remove that, because if you don't you will be drilling straight through into your tyre. Next step, we're going to move on to how the bed will get delivered to you and how to lock it into place for lifting into the vehicle. Right, so this is how you get your bed delivered to your home. First thing is, the rear cushion will be detached. It has been fitted in our workshop. We remove this for shipping purposes, just so the back end doesn't get any damages on pallets and stuff like that. Quite easy to fit, but it also helps us with the lifting process. We will refit that once the bed is in the vehicle. This is where that small cushion fits, and there's 2 screws that'll fit underneath there when the time comes to fit it. When you're ready to fit it and you've done all your measurements, this is a minimum of a 2-man or 2-woman lift. Ideally 3 people, just so you're watching the kitchen units down the side, as it is tight because it's got to go in on a bit of an angle. So the first thing you need to do, lift your recliner handle up, take the slack of the belt, pull it out, push it down. You are going to have a heavy duty cable tie, because you're going to have to cable tie the frame to the base. This will stop the gas ram from popping back up. We're going to do that now, and then we'll show you how we have done it and whereabouts we've attached it to. Right, one heavy duty cable tie. You want to get it through the gap between the upholstery and the 25 by 25 box section. That'll slide through there, and then you can get that, wrap it around like we've done with that one, nice and tight. I'll just lift it up so you can see. What we want to do is stop the bed coming back up into a seat, like that. You can see better. Plus you can get in after it's fitted just to snip that off to get it back into a seat position. We're going to move on to the lifting process, which is the biggest part, because we don't want any damages and want to get it in one go, sitting nice and level, ready to be pre-drilled and then finally fitted into the van. Right, now you've just seen us lifting the bed into the vehicle. We use 3 people. You can do it with 2, but if you've got 3 it's a lot more easier, especially getting someone in there to receive it when it gets passed through and then leveled down. So that's got to go in on a bit of an angle, then lowered down over the wheel arch. Next job is we're going to remove the screws that are pre-fitted into the back cushion. And get the cushion fitted in roughly there. Now what you want to be looking for, different vehicles have different shaped pillars at the back here. This is roughly where this one's going to be sitting. You then want to shut the door to make sure the door shuts nicely, as you can see there. This customer has got this on the back with some shoes in for climbing, but we're happy with that, where that's sitting towards the rear of the vehicle. And then to line it up going down the vehicle, we always use the wheel arch as a good key point to make sure there is an equal gap running down the wheel arch. We're going to check that more at the front once we get the bed back up. Once we're happy this is all lined up, get these screws fitted for the final time. That's that fitted. I'm going to move round to the front because the next job is to climb in, snip off that cable tie that holds the bed down. We're also going to remove the fitting kit, which you'll see under here. This is how it arrives to you. That's cable tied to the base of the frame. So I'm going to remove that and show you what's in that box. So inside here, 4 fitting bolts, 4 fitting plates. These are 316 stainless steel. They're going to be exposed under the vehicle, so there's no chance of them rusting. The way we're going to be fitting this is in this setup. So you're going to have your oversized washer through the top of the vehicle going down. Underneath, you're then going to put your fitting plate up, M10 small washer, M10 lock nut, and then 2 17mm spanners or sockets to tighten it up. We're going to be aiming for 4 locations. So when fitting our beds, you need 4 fittings on a single and a double, and on a triple and a full width you will need 6 fittings minimum. And what we want to do is keep that equally spaced, roughly there. On some vehicles you will get them to the outer edges, like so. Next we're going to move on to pilot hole drilling and just double checking there's nothing underneath before we go through with a 10mm drill bit, and then we'll show you how to tighten up and how tight to tighten it down, because you can tighten these too much. You don't want to distort the bed or the vehicle floor when you're doing it. You just want it so it just compresses the floor. It has a nice grip. With them lock nuts, they'll never come loose and under the vehicle, especially with the stainless plates as well. Once it's up there, just forget about it. Right, so we've just finished drilling. We've used a 7mm drill to go through first, and then a 10.5 to finish the hole off. The holes that we've used are going to be here, 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 and there. Next step is we'll move on underneath the vehicle to show you where them points are, putting the fitting plates up, tightening everything down, and that's the bed installed. We're underneath the vehicle now. We've got 1 fitting, if you can see, there. 1 over to this side. We've got 1, as you can see there's some polystyrene here. This is the spare wheel buffer. If you pull that down to one side, you can slide the plate round it and get your bolt through, get that fastened. On this side, you've got to remove this one. That'll pull out, fit your fitting plate. Once it's tightened up, this will fit back in. Spare wheel will come up and squash that into place. So you've got your 4 fittings there. We're now going to move to the top and just show you how much torque you want to be putting down on the final fitting. And then that's the last one. So 1, 2, 3. Where's he at? Number 4. There we go. Right, we're moving on to the final fix process. So 2 people job again. You've got someone underneath with a 17mm spanner, 1 on top with an impact or a socket set, both 17mm. What you want to do is just slowly tighten it down. And what you'll see is the base will start to compress to the shape of the vehicle. Once you start seeing a bend, that's when you want to just stop, because that's enough torque. We haven't got set torques for this due to people using different thicknesses of floor insulation. Once this is wound on and starts flexing the base plate, that is enough torque for final fit. As you can see, we've got the 4 fixings, black caps on. We'll move underneath the vehicle now. We're fixing 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to replace this polystyrene buffer for the spare wheel back in this location. You can trim these studs down. Recommend not trimming them down flush, because if you do need to remove the vehicle, you will have to use new bolts due to the spring and compression of the floor tightening up. It'll make a bigger gap and you'll not get your bolt back through. So you will have to use a new longer bolt. Next step is trim these up and move the wheel back into position. We're now going to return the spare wheel back up, nice and steady. We don't have to cut these bolts off, as the spare wheel does miss them. So if we just bring that back up now. That is it, that spare wheel is now fixed That stud there is just missing the wheel. Just makes it easy if you ever need to remove the frame. You don't need new bolts. But that's everything back up now. We're going to move on now to the operation of the bed. Check that it functions correctly. Check the seat belts, and that'll be this install complete. Right everyone, that's the final install complete. Just going to run some checks now, make sure you're happy with everything. First thing is lift the seat back up, making sure it clears everything. Going to remove the cover just on the handle. First thing is just to make sure that locks into place, which it does. Check over your seat belts. Making sure the inertia works on both of them. These slots here for your ISOFIX baby seats. Recline settings, different functions, gives you a different backrest angle, just like that. Lift the handle up, take the seat belts out, nice bit of slack, pull the bed down, there you go. Back up for a final time, lock it into place. And there you have it, that's a Fabworx IMMIX 3/4 rock and roll bed, fitted, installed, under an hour. Easy to do at your house, or you can have a fitting service completed at our Fabworx HQ in Chesterfield. Thank you very much.